When we look back on our lives, we all have regrets. But the Lord tells us when we are in Christ, we are a new creation. Old things have passed away, the new things have come. Growing up in a broken home and years of making her own choices, which resulted in immoral actions, Carol Sutton's life took a drastic turn when she wanted to end it all. But God had other plans for her life. Today, God is using her story to save the lives of others. This is her story of unshakable faith. This is today's Nashville. Hi, beautiful.
Hello, beautiful.
I am just so honored to sit down with you. You have a powerful message, I think, for women. And when I heard it, I said, oh, God is going to use you greatly. Carol, take me back to your childhood and where it all started. Where were you born?
Well, I was born on Long Island, New York, and was born and raised there. And my father was a New York City police officer.
In Italian.
So you can imagine, Italian, Irish Italian. Mm-hmm. Mom was all Irish, Dad was all Italian. And
I bet that made life interesting with
yes, to say the least. And I had a twin sister, it was Chris and I had an older brother, Bill, and older sister, Janet. And Chris and I, you may think that even though we were 2 minutes apart, that we would get along. We did nothing but fight back and forth, you know, as children. Mm-hmm. I wanted to wear the same thing. Chris wanted no part of it. Absolutely no part of it. And that really made me feel bad.
Did you look up to her? Or?
Well, yeah, because she was older.
But not that much
older.
No,
she was 2 minutes older, but I still had that, you know, she had that authoritative, even at that young age, way about her, you know. And so, but where we grew up, there was a lot of kids on the block. That's what we called it, you know, the block. And we had so much fun. We had so much fun because my dad would always not just pile Chris and I and the kids in the car, he would also bring our friends. So whether it was to go to the Bronx Zoo or go to the aquarium or go to Carvel to get ice cream, it was always a lot of fun. We had a pool in the backyard. And
don't you wish we could just go back to those days?
Exactly, you know. And then it all changed. You know, it all changed, and it was...
when did it change?
When I was 8 years old. And, I mean, it just went from all happy fun to...
What happened?
Devastation. Total devastation. On a Sunday morning, I'll never forget it, August 27th, 1967. And it was my dad, we were at the breakfast table before kids, and my mom was in the kitchen cooking, and my dad was, I remember him wearing a black suit, you know, black tie, black suit, white shirt. And he said, all right, kids, I need your attention. He said, I'm not going to be living here anymore. And that was just, what? What? We couldn't comprehend. Mm-hmm. And I can remember my mom was crying in the kitchen after he told us that. And he quickly then, he got up from the kitchen table, proceeded to go out to the front, you know, go outside, to leave. And my brother would not let him out the front door. No, you're not going. No, you're not going. Move, Billy. I'm leaving. And that was just total devastation. And I remember my mom was a devout Catholic. And I remember after he left, everybody was crying. I remember she put on this black dress to go to church in. And going to church with her, and that's all she did. It was really, really hard
And you were 8 years old?
And I'm 8 years old, you know, and that just changed my whole world. I mean, you didn't get divorced back then.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get divorced in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely the outcast.
Well, how did that affect you as you started growing into your teen years?
Oh, I mean, I was always a follower and not a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be needed and loved.
Did you see your dad again, or?
Well, yeah, well, we saw Dad, you know, every week. We would go
Mm-hmm.
every Sunday. My dad, my brother decided not to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and keep in mind, my dad left my mom for another woman.
Mm-hmm.
So he got married shortly after they got divorced. And Bill wouldn't go to see him. With him being a New York City police officer, he moved into New York, into Manhattan, got an apartment with his wife, and Billy just refused to go. We would take the railroad, and Long Island Railroad, and Dad would meet us at Penn Station. Dad said, "Billy, why don't you come and visit me anymore?" And he said, "Because I don't like your wife." And he said, "Then I don't want to see you anymore." So that was just really not to have that, all of us together.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when he sat us down to tell us that how would you feel about having another brother or a sister? And all I could think about was my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt for my mom, you know. Of course, my dad died when I was 15. He wound up dying when I was 15, so they never did have children. But it was a very devastating time, and I was lost, totally lost. I dropped out of.
You dropped out of
high school. Mm-hmm. Dropped out of high school, and yeah, I mean, I was experimented.
Did you know the Lord at that time? Or
No, well, I knew the Lord because of my mom.
Right.
But I will say this. I lost my virginity when I was 14 years old. I experimented because I had older siblings. They experimented. And we used to have, being that my dad wasn't there anymore, we used to have parties. Not we, but my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so, who was 4 years older than myself. And that's where it all started to turn.
At age 14.
Mm-hmm, at age 14, yeah.